So I'm here at CYBERUK in Glasgow, and I'm talking to Dr. Simon Shiu.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Simon. Nice to see you. So, how's it been today? How have you enjoyed CYBERUK?
It's a great event. There's a lot of energy around. There's so much happening, and the opportunity to be on the stage and tell a story was great fun as well. So yeah, good.
Yeah, it was a good session I thought we had this morning.
Yeah, covered a lot of ground.
We did cover a lot of ground, and we could have gone on a lot longer, I suspect. And certainly some of our panel members would have had some really good views, I think.
That's true.
It was quite interesting.
True.
So I'm always interested in, from an NCSE perspective, we're here to make the UK a safe place to live and work online. And I always look at it from a resilience angle. How do we improve resilience? But I think, and that in turn, protects growth. But actually, it helps the economy as well. And from, you did the work on the cyber growth plan. What do you see as the benefits to the economy of that ecosystem?
Yeah, there's a virtuous cycle of growth, I think, because if you look at the cyber sector, it's doing well. The UK cyber sector, 13 billion, I think.
Yeah.
Gross value add is good. And each year it gets better and better. So what's not to like? The interesting thing when you link it to the industrial strategy is that it's picked some sectors that need to grow, but to grow they need to be resilient, and to be resilient they need to anticipate threat, not just be doing best practice security. So there's a big link between those sectors being able to get good security and our own cyber sector being able to grow in to deliver on that. So I think there's a virtuous cycle that we need to get to, where those sectors are able to articulate demand, and then our cyber sector can help grow into the right shape for that demand and grow even faster. That way we get growth in the cyber sector, but it's supporting resilience of other sectors, which creates more growth, and we get more growth on top of that as well.
So do you think so where does the demand come from? So we always talk about supply and demand. Mm-hmm. So where do you think some of the main drivers for that demand can kind of come from? And are you see it, and do you think it's there at the moment?
I think there's a few things, because the threat grows year on year. So just to keep up with the current threat, and there's growth in that, because I think there's challenges in helping larger number of groups of organizations do the fundamentals, and that requires tooling and innovation and so on. But that's only part of it, because the threat keeps evolving with new technology, so that warrants different approaches, and that's where the innovation challenge comes. So I think I would articulate the threat. I think there's then a mixture of how we help the market respond to the threat, which maybe there's some regulation, there's guidance, there's policies, there's a lot there that gets pointed at, which again, both the demand side and the supply side could be using to do, because it is quite hard to work out what good looks like for security. And so the guidance really helps make that market be efficient in doing that.
Do you think that's where NCSE fits into all this?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think the NCSE have done a very good job of kind of, using their expertise, putting it out there as guidance. Some of the challenges is, does everybody look at it? How do you put it out in a way that it has the kind of impact and influence? But the guidance that is there is very good. So how do we make best use of it as a community, as an industry? I think that's important.
And I suppose is, how do we make it easy for organisations to do the right thing?
Yes.
And get either in terms of implementing the guidance or getting help to implement the guidance.
That's right.
And that's all that industry can do, and to help us.
I think that's right. And then there's something there around unpacking the guidance to, whether you call it code of practice, whether it's helping people actually learn how to do these things and being given the guardrails and handrails to use them where they've not got some of that background, I think. And probably a little more signposting from the whole community to say this is what good looks like and how to do it.
I think that's it. I mean, all I see is people struggle. If you look at the workforce surveys that DCIT does, always says people haven't got the skills and organisations haven't got the skills. Yeah. So we have to make it so much easier for organisations to be able to do it, or we take the pain away and try and do it within the infrastructure, I think.
Yes. No, I don't think there's a mixture of both, and I think there's interesting thing with the skills question as well. I think a lot of it is in IT and operations and pivoting those people to do the security well, as opposed to just starting purely how do I give people security skills to come and secure these other environments. It's a piece of both. But
and sort of taking your previous role when you were kind of head of HP research in the UK, I think that was a role.
Yes, yes, exactly. For the HP income on cybersecurity mostly. Yes,
that was it. Yeah. So how do you think sort of the whole idea of secure by design or default comes into, and how challenging is that
It is very challenging because I think there's a whole incentive structures around what does good look like? Oh, and how do I know good has been done behind the scenes on this product and this service, and how you bring that transparency out. It's one of the things that makes the cyber industry a little bit more challenging, I think, for growth companies to show they've done innovation and then validate that innovation and get trusted for it. I would say I think it can be easier for some of those big brands because you start with that trust and you know that if you don't do a good job, you're going to lose that trust. So it kind of carries that weight. But when you're doing new stuff, first of a kind stuff, and what does secure by design look like for those new, doing it in innovative new ways, I think that's how you signal that's what good looks like, or how you, I don't know, maybe it's a challenge too far, but the NCSC or the tech authorities shining a light and saying, actually, we don't know if it's good, but this is the kind of thing that good could look like to bring some brand value to some of those firms. Because I do think the startups have a tougher time showing, gaining the trust, if you like, because they have to work that a little bit harder to show what good looks like. And that's where I think we made the case that in the UK, if those sectors that need to articulate demand could work with the cyber sector, the UK cyber sector, then those brands that are saying this helped us, this is what good looks like, that can amplify those startups in a way that at the moment, oftentimes they have to go elsewhere to do their validation.
I mean, there's something we didn't get into in the plenary this morning, available on YouTube, which is it harder to do innovation in cybersecurity than in anywhere else? And I'll kind of try to explain why. So a lot of the cybersecurity stuff is trying to fix poor engineering sometimes. Systems aren't being built well, they're not being configured well, so we then have to do additional things on top of it. But if those things aren't done in a secure way, then that creates more vulnerability. So do you think it's harder, it's a more challenging to do innovation in cyber because of that kind of...
I think that's certainly a part of why it's difficult. I think there's all sorts of things like security has to fit in with operational environments, how it gets managed, and so oftentimes the priority is if it doesn't fit with the way we can manage this thing, even if it's a more innovative way of doing it and lead to some better results in other ways, hey, it doesn't fit in with my management system, that's something else that has to be overcome. So there are other things that security innovation on its own doesn't always get you over the line in the way that, let's say, if you're doing innovation generally and this was helping you grow your business more directly, that innovation would come across more easily, I suspect. I'm not suggesting innovation and growing companies is easy anywhere, but I do see more challenges with cyber.
Well, it's been great talking to you, and I hope you have a really good rest of Cyber UK.
Thank you.
And great.